You're listening to the Pelicans Post Game Report on the PRO Media Network for all things Pelicans.
Perfect. Fly Pelican, fly Pelican, fly Pelican. And I tell him that birds of a feather fly down, I'm a Pelican forever. Pelican forever. Ain't gon' lie, I feel flyer than I ever been. We stay ballin', this New Orleans, I'm a Pelican. It's going down in the nest, wild, wild west. Come in town and you best show us some respect. 3-point threat, I better make it rain. If it's up, then don't jump stupid like your ankle sprain. Always said, never hate the player, hate the game. Jumping where the dame late, punch a train. Post game, big Q, talking about business. Bird gang, YouTube, they ain't flocking with us. Lock up the division mission, get into the finals. Finish competition, then it's going win the title. I know this flyer than you can get. Such a threat that the ref just might call a tag. You could double, you could press, but you can't check. Right, left, slide by you like a Eurostep. Fly Pelican, fly Pelican, fly Pelican. And I tell them that birds of a feather flock together. Fly down, I'm a Pelican forever. Pelican forever. And never, and never, and never, and never, and never, and never say birds of a feather flock together. Yeah, fly down, I'm a Pelican forever. Pelican forever.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we've not been able to guard these guys for 2 straight games. We knew it was going to be a massive challenge coming in. You know, I felt this in the first go round with them, and and they added Cam Thomas to the mix. We couldn't guard them one-on-one. There was no resistance at the rim. We had no control of them. And when they needed to make a big shot, they made a big shot. Cut it to 2. They found mid-range. They found some easy stuff at the rim. We gotta be better tomorrow. Bottom line, it's the defense. We've been saying this for a number of times, and we've been trending well. It's disappointing that we came out this way when the focus the last 2 days in practice, which have been good, the focus has been on the defensive end, and we just didn't get it done tonight. Bottom line,
As far as the 3-point shooting, I know you didn't have Trey tonight, but 4-25, frustrating is that?
Yeah, it's gonna be tough when you shoot at that number. I mean, we did shoot 55% overall. I think we were pretty good at the rim. Obviously, we're missing Trey's 3-ball. He's a massive part of our offense, and we missed him. But we got to find other ways to score, and we have to do it off our defense. I said that at the start of today. We got to generate more off our defense. We just did not do it tonight. We turned them over, I think, enough in the first half to get some easy ones. We just couldn't get enough of that done in the second half.
Is a game like this where you don't have really that secondary help and Eve Missy back there in the back line really hurt?
Yeah, it's massive. He's a big part of our defense. He's an anchor for us. He's in the paint. He's at the rim. He can cover for so many guys. He's switchable. He's a big part of our defense. And obviously, we're missing that. So other guys have to step up.
When you say other guys have to step up, is it basically just the point of attack defense, or is it just really everywhere in general?
It's both. It's both. You're right. Prevention is cure. One-on-one, you got to guard. I think you can go through the film and find everybody getting beat off the bounce tonight. And they have, they're elite, off the bounce. They have some guys that can flat out score off the bounce. So that's the point of attack we have to be better at, which we've been drilling. We're working on that. But there's a secondary level too, where in my shifts, before the ball even gets to the paint, we got to be in. And then if it gets to the paint, there's got to be resistance at the rim. There's got to be a play at the rim. We did not make enough plays at the rim tonight. The paint felt too empty to me tonight. No resistance on the ball. There was no resistance in the paint. And if that happens, they're going to score 140.
Jordan Poole's first time playing in 9 games, 10 games. How do you think
I thought he had great spirit out there. His energy was good. He was communicating, talking. I felt him in the game. I thought his spirit was in it. He was competing. I can't ask more from that. Good. Thank you.
All right, shout out to the fam for all things Pelicans. Now tuned into the Pelican Post Game Report. Much love to the fam. Appreciate y'all for being in a live PPR in the building, man. Y'all hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. By all means, feel free to share the show on your social media feed. PPR Post All-Star break. Pels, 2 straight losses coming out of the All-Star break. Get blown out tonight by the Milwaukee Bucs, 139-118. Coach Borrego talking about the team being prepared to play, working on it in practice, simply not allowing it, or pretty much not getting to the point where the Pelicans could translate what he's seeing in practice into regular play in the actual game. And that's not a good thing. But anyway, the Pels, they go down in blazes to the Bucs. That's two straight. In terms of the regular season matchup, the Bucs own the Pelicans this year. They take the 2-game series, and that's tough. You know, we wanted to see something a lot more than a blowout, more of a competitive game, and it's just, he talked about the post and mentioned, but my goodness, man, we seen some awful play by the Pelicans in terms of the just off the bench. The Pelicans just bench production was just ridiculous. The Pelicans were destroyed off the bench by the Milwaukee Bucks in scoring. They were lit up from downtown tonight by the Milwaukee Bucks. 15 3-pointers to Pels, four 3-pointers. The Pelicans shot 16% from downtown tonight. Trey wasn't there. Eves wasn't there. Still in all. They did not have Giannis. They were missing some of their guys, but in the end, the more hungrier, better team won. And it's just it's one of these games where we look at things, say, man, what are we doing? But I just see it, man. There's so much time elapsed that you have during the All-Star break. You would like to see your team come out and perform better, and it just wasn't there. Elite perimeter shooting. The Bucs shot significantly better from deep. You're seeing Ryan Rollins. He did his thing tonight. There's a fourth quarter collapse once again by the Pelicans. You know, they trailed entering the final frame, but then you had a decisive 14-4 run that kind of pulled that, you know, the separation between them. You can see that we really did miss Trey Murphy's shooting. He's our top shooter. That sore shoulder issue, we've, you know, thought before this game, before we got the injury report the other day about Trey Murphy's shoulder, we figured coming out of All-Star break, he should be good to go, but not so much. So the Pelicans also, it was just one of these situations where the defense doesn't travel in terms of it playing 4 full quarters of basketball for the Pelicans. The bench scoring wasn't was just ridiculous. The Bucs wore the Pelicans out behind Cam Thomas. Cam lit the Pelicans up. Several other players followed suit, and it's just it's not a good look for our squad today. But anyway, shout out to you guys. Appreciate you. Let's go over some of these numbers here, man. Not a lot to talk about in this game. It was just one of those blowout situations where Pelicans just didn't have enough, especially in the fourth quarter, man. They were just outscored by 14 in the fourth, and Milwaukee just separated and took it from them. Anyway, the field goal percentage shooting was 55% by the Pelicans, 47 of 86. They were 4 of 25 from downtown for 16%. The Bucs were 55 of 92 for 60%, 15 of 36, and 42% from downtown. Now, coming into the game, the scouting report about the Milwaukee Bucks is that they're a team that loves to shoot the 3-ball. In order to slow this team down, you have to have better perimeter defense, right? And it was just, once again, the communication issues. And Borrego mentioned some of these things. He just can't get them. He can't get them to respect what he's saying for them to put it on the floor and make it work. He's saying that we're doing it in practice. But that's the thing about having charisma and the ability to be able to capture a team's imagination and make them, you know, go all out for you. We just don't see that consistently from this interim coach. That's why, you know, coaching is big in the NBA. You know, if you can't be respected for your players to go out and perform for you the way you need them to go out and all out effort, then you got to get the hell up out of here, man. It's what it is. Pelicans 20 of 28 for 71% from the free throw line. The Bucs went 14 of 18 for 78%. But once again, the 3 points. How about them 3-point shooting? The Bucs shot 15 of 36. The Pels were 4 of 25. You know, that's 11 more 3-pointers that the Bucs hit on the Pelicans. You know, 11. The rebound edge goes to Milwaukee 37 to 36. The assist game goes to the Bucs 28 to 22. Pelicans 10-9 on the steals, Bucs 7-6 on the blocks. Pelicans did have 14 turnovers with 20 points given up versus 15 by the Bucs with 25 given up. The fast break was 24-13 advantage Pelicans, and they did do a good job of dominating in the paint, 84-60, but the 3-point shots was off the chain. And Coach Borrego did talk about the fact that their defense was a major issue throughout the game, especially in the fourth quarter. You can see right here, individually speaking, for our team, Zion Williamson, man, he played big in this one. 32 points in 30 minutes for Zion. He was 13 of 17, 6 of 8 from the foul line. He had a couple of rebounds and assists in the matchup, but 32 big game points from Zion tonight. 22 from Saddiq Bey in 36 minutes. She was 7 of 13 from the field, a couple of 3-pointers, perfect from the foul line, 6 boards, 3 assists and 3 steals, and a block for Saddiq Bey, adding in his pointage. Derek Queen tonight, 18 points in 28 minutes, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 turnovers, 3 steals, and a couple of blocks for him in the matchup. 10 from Bryce McGowens. Bryce McGowens recently signed a contract. We'll talk about that after the preview. He, in his 30-minute game, in his start, had 30 minutes, 10 points. He was 5 of 12 in the field, 0 for 3 from downtown for McGowens, along with 2 steals. And Herb Jones in 32 minutes, 3 of 10 from the field. He was horrible from downtown, 0 for 6. He was by far the most egregious 3-point shooter we had tonight. 8 points from Herb, 4 rebounds, 3 assists in the matchup for him. He also was playing with the personal foul game. He had 5 tonight for them. And then, of course, when you look at the bench, Jeremiah Fears in 29 minutes, 16 points, 7 of 13, 0 for 3 from downtown, 2 of 5 from the foul line, 4 rebounds, 5 assists for Jeremiah Fears in 29 minutes. And we had a Jordan Poole sighting tonight. How about that? 25 minutes for Jordan Poole, 3 points. 25 minutes, 3 points. He was 1 of 6 from the field, 1 of 4 from downtown, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. First time playing in a long time. It had to be like 9 or 10 games since the last time we seen Jordan Poole play. Pelicans finally give him some minutes, 25 minutes tonight. Very rusty, dusty performance by Jordan Poole. Let's see if they can continue to give him the minutes so he can sink in and gain a rhythm. 25 from Karlo Mekovic off the bench, 9 points for him, 4-4 from the field, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 blocks for Karlo Mekovic. Jordan Hawkins sighting as well. He was 5 minutes, 0 points for him in the game. Now, like I said, Yves Messi missed the game. Trey Murphy was out, so he kind of dug into the bench. But as you can see, man, when you talk about how the Milwaukee Bucks kind of touched down, they just lit the Pelicans up from downtown. They just outplayed them. The bench scoring was off the chain too. They were like 60 plus points versus like 20 something from the Pelicans bench. And that's a big part of the game. It's like, you got to find a way to manufacture points from your bench as well. And then also we talked about the 3-point shooting, like 11 attempt differential between, 4 3 points, 16% from downtown was horrible. A lot of that you're missing your top 3-point shooter, but man, that's just horrible play. You look at what the Bucs did. 27 from Ryan Rollins. He just plays the Pelicans and kills them. 27. He had 7 3-pointers, fam. Ryan Rollins lit the Pelicans up. He had 7 3-pointers by himself in the matchup. He was just balling. Kevin Porter was in there. He was doing his thing as well. Conducted 25 points in a plus 12 and plus 12 point minus 12. Excuse me. Well, actually plus 12 differential for him tonight in his 25-point effort, and 14 from Kyle Kuzma in 25 minutes. And then you look at the bench. Bobby Portis came in and gave him 17 and 11 off the bench. 10 from Pete Nance. Daing had 10 points. Then you look at 27 from Cam Thomas. He lightened them up as well. So since Cam Thomas has gotten there, the Milwaukee's been a spark plug for them off the bench. And Kevin Porter Jr. really starting to catch his game too. He was always a spark plug in terms of his offensive game. And then it's just them really just playing as well as they are against teams, and they're really gaining ground, man, with that addition. Even without Giannis playing, the Bucs still are piling up a ton of points, man. They had almost 140 on the Pelicans tonight in this matchup, and that's 2 straight for our Pels, fam. That's 2 straight losses for the Pelicans. And now we have to kind of shift and do something different, man, right? So that was the first. Of course, we know we'll be dealing with a back-to-back situation as well. In the preview, up next is the Pelicans fall to 15-42. The Sixers come in 30-25. That's the preview here, fam. Shout out to y'all. Appreciate y'all being here. Good to see the fam, man, after an all-star break, man. As well, shout out to DC. He had a birthday that passed yesterday, fam. So shout out to him. Y'all send y'all birthday shout outs to my dog DC, my little brother DC, doing his thing. But let's talk about the Sixers matchup here, as you can see right here on the screen. Now we know there are a few things to kind of mention in this matchup. That the fact that Joel Embiid is out, supposed to be out until the 22nd of this month. He had a lower leg issue. We know Paul George is suspended until late March. So those are 2 really good players that we won't have to see. But there is that Tyrese Maxey effect, and he's a guy that's averaging 29 points a game, 7 assists per contest. He's just phenomenal in his own right. But we know the Philadelphia 76ers are having some issues. They have lost 3 games in a row. And they're struggling a little bit, so they'll be looking to try to get on course against the Pelicans. Now Trey Murphy is supposed to be back on the 21st, which is tomorrow. He's from that shoulder issue. He's supposed to play tomorrow. Eves is supposed to return from his calf issue. These are listed as game time decisions. PV is also listed with that toe issue. We know he's been having problems with that big toe. So we'll see what's going on with that. But all those players is listed supposed to be returned. Even DeJounte Murray, we talked about him. We'll have a report about Murray supposed to be returning sometimes next week, according to some of the reports we're getting. And the Pelicans, man, hopefully they can become kind of gain ground with some of these guys, because we need every bit of whatever we can muster to be able to handle business and move this thing forward if there is anything, because they're not playing for playoff position, and I mean not playoff, lottery or draft or any kind of that nonsense. If anything, they're going to try to do is try to finish strong and at least try to win as many games possible, and not just keep losing and falling up out of here, man. Because this doesn't make any sense. But in here, man, let's take a look at the preview here. As you can see, the Milwaukee Bucs preview, like I just talked about, some of the players returning hopefully for tomorrow's matchup. We'll see what it looks like. It's listed as game time decisions for Trey Murphy and all that tomorrow. We'll see. But you can see the rankings right here by the 76ers, 13th rank in terms of their points per game. Off the ops is 16th. You can see some top stuff right there. The top free throw attempting team, top 9, and free throw percentage. So they do it well there. They also, in terms of turnovers, they're 6th. 7th in steals, 5th in blocks per game, but Embiid is going to be out for this contest. So the Pelicans, who are also pretty decent in terms of the steal game and turnovers, but if you take a look at everything else, we're kind of bringing up the rear in the 26, 27, 28th model with a lot of very good statistics offensively speaking, and yet still just not enough balance, from our squad in terms of what we're dealing with. Like I said, who knows what the game would have probably looked like with Trey there. Perhaps it'll be a loss. But defense, not only just that, the defense, period, man, regardless of how you look at it. Even if we'd had Trey tonight, the defense is still a problem for the Pelicans. The Pelicans' defense, perimeter defense, wasn't all that tonight. The inside, the communication issues continue. And I just don't know what to say. But the Sixers, 3 straight losses, family lost to Portland, New York, and Atlanta. So in that Atlanta and New York losses were close, where they were blowout losses. They lost by 10 to Atlanta. They got destroyed by the New York squad. They lost to Portland too as well. And they'll be looking to get back on pace against our squad, who Pelicans, since those 2 wins they had against Minnesota and Sacramento, they got knocked off by Miami before the break. And then you come out of the break, supposed to be with extra practices, refocusing, and you just get dispatched like you did tonight. So without Giannis. So it's interesting, man, to see what will happen here, and can the Pelicans reverse field and kind of have some pride about themselves, man, and try to at least finish the season on a strong note, man. I just don't like seeing them look as poorish as they do. But anyway, Tyrese Maxey, man, is going to be a major problem for the Pelicans in this upcoming matchup, like he is. Like I said, they'll be looking to kind of shake free and make something shake. This is the depth chart right here with Tyrese Maxey. You can see Edgecombe, Kelly Oubre always likes the Pelicans up. Joel Embiid will be out for the game, so they'll be operating accordingly. But like I said, they've struggled recently, man. And can the Pelicans take advantage of those struggles, man? So keys, 5 keys of victory against the Sixers tomorrow as we host them in the Smoothie King Center. Number 1 key, they gotta attack the paint without Joel Embiid there. You know, he's the guy. He's listed as out with his issues. So we gotta exploit that lack of rim protection, right? With Joel Embiid out, we got to attack the paint without him being there, right? We got to take care of business there. We got to take advantage of getting there and making things happen. Zion had 30-plus big game points tonight doing what he do. He's going to need some help, fam. He's going to need some help. And number 2, on top of that, they got to neutralize Tyrese Maxey. And I don't know how they do that. Maybe, try to they got to crispen up that defense. Often talk about just abandoning the switch all defensive approach, right? And just get back to fundamental defense, like guard your yard, like AD talks about. Just guard your yard, run around screens, run over screens. Like he mentions, not melting on the screens. You got to, guard your yard and just do like that. The switch all stuff, they can't do that. We've been saying for them to stop that. I don't know why these coaches keep trying to propagate that. This team doesn't communicate well enough to do a switch all defense. Your team has to communicate. I mean, at a high degree for that to work. And then the defense has to have a high IQ to operate the switch all. And what I mean by that is communicating high IQ, knowing when to switch and when not to switch. You don't switch all every time. You only switch when it benefits you. When a team is trying to get you to switch into a mismatch, you got to know the difference and don't switch. You cannot switch into mismatches that'll help your adversaries. You got to know the difference. Our team, unfortunately, does not. That collectively, IQ wise, for the switch all defense, they don't have it. Let's just keep it real. They don't have that IQ. That's why they be looking like this in this tape. They can get out here and they don't communicate well enough. They don't know when to switch, when not to switch. I just say eliminate it because it doesn't work. It looks stupid and it keeps messing up things every night. So I keep advocating them for him to get rid of it. The coach who's supposed to be the brains of the outfit, he keep doing the same shit over and over every night and getting these mixed results, getting these bad results defensively. That's not helping us out. Eliminate, abandon, eject, destroy, eliminate the switch all defensive philosophy. Quit it. Make these guys guard their yard. Stop the switch all. Number 3, dominate the boards. Without Embiid there, the Pelicans, led by Zion and Queen, got to get more active there. They got to control the glass and prevent those second chance opportunities. Bottom line, right? Cleaning the glass is big. We know that's not a part of the Pelicans' philosophy unless Kevon Looney get out there, because we know he's probably the better of the offensive rebounders that we have. He has a understanding of getting there and getting offensive rebounds, this type of thing, but also not allowing the ops to get second chance points off a good defensive effort. You can have a good defensive effort. The guy shoots the ball, gets it back, kicks it back out for a wide open 3-pointer. We've seen that happen. If we do what we're supposed to do, collect those offensive rebounds, we can prevent a lot of those second chance 3-point vibe killing shots that we see happen to the Pelicans on a night-to-night basis. The 4th key cue, manage the back-to-back, right? This is the second night of the home back-to-back, right? So maintaining some defensive energy, offensive energy, especially in the fourth quarter, will be critical for some of these late game fades. Now, it's a back-to-back, but it's a home back-to-back. Those hit differently. You at home. So you got to take advantage of that, especially when you're coming off a large break, right? You got a back-to-back. Milwaukee blown out tonight. You got the Sixers tomorrow night. You're at home. You're coming off a long layover from the All-Star break, so people should be fresh enough. People should be fresh and ready to go, and that's the point. And then, of course, the final key cue is bench production. After being outscored massively tonight, Pelicans bench needs to bounce back. and have a better performance against that thin rotation of players that Philly is going to have coming off their bench. Like I said, they still adjusting to some things. The Pels really need to take care of business against this team, against Philly. And will they? I'll let y'all decide in the chat. Y'all tell me if they can get a win tonight. Tomorrow night. Y'all tell me. Y'all let me know how you feel. I'm gonna have to say no to that, fam. I'm gonna have to say no, even though I think they should be able to do something. I know Trey Murphy should be coming back tomorrow. We'll see what's up with Eves, but man, it's just more of the same from the Pelicans, man. You wanna give them the benefit of the doubt, but in the end, man, in the interim, it just they just let you down so much, man. That's the thing that really stumps me. They just let you down so much, man. That's the killer part of the whole damn thing, right? You wanna give them the benefit of the doubt, man, but they just let you down. So Tyrese Maxey, VJ Edgecombe, we got some of those guys. You see guys coming off the bench. Campaign, they brought him back, Quentin Grimes, and the rest of these guys. We'll see if the Pelicans can capitalize, because remember, they got 25 games remaining, going forward in the next couple of months. So the Pelicans will need to cut all the bullshit out, and they're going to have to lock in and try to do something. Now, I know it's a lot of people see it as an impossible feat, but regardless or not, whether we see it as impossible or not, these guys are getting paid to play at a high level, and they need to really buy into that and finish strong. That's the bottom line, man. Regardless if Borrego's, whatever he is and what he talking about, guys got to dig in, because now is the time. Now is the time to pull everybody around. A lot of people saying they ain't going nowhere, they ain't doing nothing. Y'all could very well be right, but they can't believe that shit. They getting paid six figures, dog. I mean, your boy just McGowan's just got a 3-year contract. They can't believe that. They have to go out there and throw it all on the court. They can't believe that everybody believe they're not going to go anywhere. They have to have the opposite effect. They have to be able to say, man, we got to prove them wrong. I know we 11 something games from the plan or whatever it is, but we got 25 games left and anything possible. That's what the coaching staff is selling them. They got to go out and perform. Even though it ain't look like it tonight, but hell, that's what it is. Anyway, man, that's my call on it, man. I'm gonna have to say a no on that. I think they'll probably end up losing that matchup tomorrow. Y'all guys tell me what y'all think in the comment section. Do you see it as a win tomorrow against Philly? Philly's lost 3 in a row. Pelicans lost 2 in a row. Yes, can we stop Maxey? That's what it all comes down to, man. That's really when Embiid's not there. Can we stop Maxey? All right, let's hit up this right here, man. And this is an article right here. Bryce McGowan's, man. Pelicans, they signed McGowan's to a 3-year deal. Hoops and Rumors reported this. Pelicans two-way wing Bryce McGowan's reached an agreement on a 3-year standard contract, according to ESPN. Sham, who got the information from his agent, McGowan's, who's 23, averaged 8 points, 2 rebounds, and assists in half and 20 minutes per game this season, has made 11 starts for the Pelicans, have scored efficiently in his limited roles, shooting 48% from the field and 45.3% from beyond the arc. Prior to signing the 2-way contract with the Pels last summer, McGowan's appeared in 118 games for the Hornets, the Blazers, in 22-25, recording 5 points, 2 rebounds, and 14 minutes of action. 6'6" shooting guard, was the 40th overall pick in the 2022 draft out of Nebraska. McGowan still has plenty ability to appear in these 9 more regular season games before reaching his limit as a 2-way player, but the Pelicans, when an open spot on a 15-man roster, decided not to wait to promote him to a standard deal. With the details of the contract aren't yet known, the fact that he'll cover 3 years suggests the team will use part of its mid-level exception to complete the signing. The transaction open up a 2-way slot for New Orleans alongside Trey Alexander and Hunter Dickerson. So there you go. And also, a lot of people like, and I mentioned Trey Alexander's another really good player. Hunter Dickerson's a 7-footer, but he kind of soft. He still need to develop some, but Trey Alexander can ball too. So congratulations to Bryce McGowan's, man, who gets a 3-year deal from the Pelicans. So that'll be interesting moving forward, see how that happens. Now, from one guard to another. All right, Pelicans teased DeJounte Murray's return. The All-Star guards close to return to the court for the Pelicans. And this is shout out to Sports Illustrated. Pelicans return return to action post All-Star break. They host the Bucs. We know this is written prior to that. On Thursday, interim coach Borrego asked about the return of Murray, who has been sidelined for over a year after rupturing that Achilles tendon. So Borrego provided excellent news for the family mace about the All-Star guard's return. He's close. After Thursday's practice, I say in the next week he'll be back on the floor playing NBA games, which is amazing. So there you go, talking about that. I say he's and that's the tweet by Rod Walker saying next week. So Murray's returning to the NBA action next week. Last week, Murray was doing individual workouts at the practice facility and even posted a video of himself dunking on social media page. He had the caption, quote, "See y'all soon," end quote, under it, highlighting his imminent return to the court. The former first-round pick had an injury-filled first season last year. The Pelicans acquired him before the start of last year in a blockbuster deal that included Dyson Daniels, Larry Nance Jr., E.J. Liddell, and 2 future first-round picks sent to the Hawks for the Seattle native. Many fans were excited about his playmaking and clutch shooting in last season with Atlanta. The pairing of Murray, Zion, B.I., C.J. McCollum was viewed as a formidable starting lineup capable of competing in the Western Conference. The hope didn't last long as injuries again decimated the Pelicans roster. Murray fractured his hand on opening night and missed the next 17 games before returning to the lineup, playing the next 30. And injuries to McCollum Williamson happened early in the year before an ankle injury to Ingram sidelined him for an extended time. And the foursome never played a single game together as the Pelicans traded Ingram to the Raptors before the trade deadline. This offseason, the Pelicans sent veteran C.J. McCollum to Washington for Jordan Poole and Sadiq Bey. For the season, Murray averaged 17.5 points, 7.4 assists, and 6.5 rebounds. His Achilles injury occurred on January the 31st in a game against the Celtics, ending his season. Murray's absence could be especially felt on the defensive end. Given the Pelicans' poorest defensive rating this season, Murray averaged 2 steals per game before his injury and has been a perimeter disruptor for all of his career. Leadership, poise, just his voice, his mentality, Borrego said about Murray's attributes on the court, the competitive spirit. He's a two-way player, a guy that can defend at a high level. We've seen in the past. He knows how to run the club as a point guard and can generate offense. The Pelicans traded beloved backup Jose Alvarado to the Knicks at the deadline, so Murray would be primed to fully run the second unit while the team still develops rookie guard Jeremiah Fears. Interesting. Run the second unit. The expectations are low for his return after dealing with such a major injury. Murray will most likely be on the minutes restriction when he returns and will be monitored closely for the remainder of the season. While his return can help New Orleans in the immediate future, it remains to be seen on what his long-term outlook will be with the Pelicans uniform. He's due north of $30 million next season, along with Poole, forms an expensive backcourt that has not played together yet. Poole has been benched for the last 10 games for inconsistent play, and a season where Pelicans are near the bottom of the Western Conference standings. Murray's return is a small glimmer of hope for the rest of the season. So that's a couple of shout out to the writer on this, giving us a little game about the DeJounte Murray and DeJounte Murray. That is good news to hear that he's close to return, because one thing DeJounte Murray can give is that he is a legit floor general. He's a guy that speaks his mind on the court. He'll tell you what to do. And he definitely brings up the IQ of the team when he's on the floor, right? Talking, telling people, this sort of thing. Love that part of his game. Very vocal personality there. And then that could help. But like I said, this is a very interesting unit we have, right? We got guys like Poole, that's $30 million. Murray, that's $30 million. So how can these guys help them win? And remember, fam, you can't bench these guys. Like, they have to play minutes, because you got to show what Murray and Poole could do. Because ultimately, if either one of these guys are not a part of the future for the Pelicans, they have to play so you can show potential teams what they can do, right? You got to show them that they're healthy and that they can help your team win. You got to show that. So they have to be minutes, not cheap minutes, really. Some kind of way, Borrego's going to have to figure out minutes for these players, for DeJounte, for Poole. And Poole did play tonight. That was another thing. He played 20 plus minutes tonight. He didn't really do that well scoring, but you heard Borrego give him accolades in the post presser about him doing, out there hustling and moving around doing this thing. The production wasn't there tonight, but we'll see if they continue to give him 20 plus minutes or whatever the case may be. We know Eves at some point is going to come back. That more than likely might affect Carlo Mekovic's minutes. We'll see how and what he's done, because he had some time during All-Star break to figure out this. None of this stuff is new. He knew eventually he was going to get these $30 million players back. So he's going to have to figure out a way to utilize them in the next 25 games. And that's going to be interesting to see how he does that. That's just to keep it real. Somebody might lose some minutes. We'll see who it is, right? We shall see. Anyway, with that being said, man, listen, I'm gonna get on out on that, man. Listen, we'll be back tomorrow, man. What time is it? Yeah, it's 10:35 p.m. Central my way. But we'll be back tomorrow. This is a back-to-back, fam. We'll return to recap what the Pelicans do tomorrow night against the Philadelphia 76ers in the Smoothie King Center. I don't know what's going to happen there. They got to improve. Hopefully we get Trey Murphy back. We can use his 3-point shooting. Zion balled out tonight with his 30-point performance. It's just the Bucs lit their asses up tonight. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. It's just what it was tonight. All right, so anyway, big ups to y'all, man. We appreciate y'all man, for chiming in. Young Illuminati, Big Sean, good to see you, bro, in the chat as well. Knoxville, and big ups to you. What's up, Steph? Shout out to you. Yeah, old DC getting old, man. He had his birthday the other day, man. He had his birthday. Shout out to my dog. Big ups, man. Appreciate it. What's up, Daniel, Jayden? Much love to all y'all, man. Shout out to you. Ilk, I hope I'm saying your name. I butchered the shit out of your name. Big ups to you, man. Ilk, how about that? Ilk. All right, big ups to you. Kibble says we should start Murray, Trey, Bay, Z, and Misi to see how that lineup works. Hey, bro, I'm from doing whatever it takes to kind of shift these lineups up. But listen, I mean, we gonna have fears, and I know a lot of family members were very critical of Queen and some of our younger players. But and when I'm looking at what I'm seeing on the court under Borrego, it's kind of like I'm looking at it. I'm like looking, but I'm thinking of something else. And what I mean by that is I don't think Borrego knows exactly how to maximize value out of none of these players, to be honest with you. He doesn't have a consistent lineup that he likes to go to. He's still floating. It's like it's a guy that don't know exactly what he's doing, despite the fact that he's been here for a while. Not just as an interim coach, but as a coach, period. Borrego been here for the last 3-something odd years. I mean, these are the same players we've been having. There's still confusion on roles of players. And unless he locks in, sinks in, and finds the answer to some of these problems, the team's going to continue to have the shaky feel. So if things I think Queen looks different if you have a coach that knows how to use him in fears. You see what I'm saying? They have defined roles for your players. Like, this is your role. This is your role. This is what you are. This is the option. I'm operating through you. You see what I'm saying? That type of thing. Now, if DeJounte Murray comes back and, like you said, he's going to have a limited role coming off the bench, and he's your flow general, that does help your bench, to be honest with you, especially if Jordan Poole's a part of that, because you got to play him as well. You can't even though I know you like McGowan's, you can't let McGowan's, even though if he got this 3-year contract, I guarantee you it ain't nowhere near what they paying Poole. Let's just be honest. If it's a part of that exception, then I know it ain't nowhere near what you paying Poole. So these type of players have to have a consistent role, from a minute standpoint, to justify the money. No matter where it is, whatever the sport is, or even in business, you're not going to continue to have an expensive player who you're not playing. That's not going to that's not going to make any sense. That don't make any sense anywhere. No business situation can sustain itself if you paying a ridiculous amount of money for people and you're not getting that return that return on your investment, that ROI. If you're not getting that, then you kind of shooting yourself in the foot, so to speak. So at some point, when Murray gets healthy enough to kind of consistently gradually get those minutes and Poole is there, you got to play those guys a part of whatever rotation you're going to have, so that when you go into the offseason, you can have enough of games showing that these guys could play, so you can kind of facilitate a trade for them, because there was no trade market for Jordan Poole, not at all. No trade market. With 25 games remaining, you put these guys on the floor, you don't have a draft pick, so all you can do is lock them in and say, hey, man, I know it seems impossible, but we're going to have to play for this spot. We got to work our asses off to see how close we can get to this spot with these 25 games remaining. That's what I see. That's all they got. So that's Borrego's point. But like I said, it looks differently if you have Malone there. It looks differently if you have Coach Buttenheimer there. It looks different when you have a credentialed coach that understands how to put players in specific roles, has a resume that players respect because he's been to the promised land, so to speak. He got a championship, this sort of thing. You see what I'm saying? If I got a Malone, and I'm not saying they gonna get along, I'm gonna hope they get Malone, but if you have a Malone, that's different than having a damn James Borrego. Let's just be honest. Because a guy, he would know how to use the player. He have a vision on how to use these players. He had a system that he used before that is successful, where he can install these players into his system. He knows which ones he can use and which ones he can't use. And listen, players that are disgruntled, that's making a lot of money, if you get a coach like that, they won't become disgruntled anymore. That's when you know you stepping it up. Now, people say, Q, how about them paying for a coach that's $10 million a year? That's a whole nother thing altogether. But if you want to win, you're not going to win doing it the cheap way. Because I assure you that people were saying that about Joe Dumars. They went and got Joe Dumars. Guess what, fam? Joe Dumars is not cheap either. They paying a hefty price to have Joe Dumars here. And if they want to win, they're going to have to spend money on his coach. That's the bottom line. Now, I heard about the little unfathom rumors about them talking to Ham and all these, Ollie. But let's see how it looks in the off season. You're going to, some guys at the bottom, you're going to talk to everybody in between to see what's going on. But best believe, man, you got to look at some of the top coaches that'll be available that's out there, that's looking to get back into the coaching, head coaching seat. And Malone's one of those guys. Coach Bud's one of those guys. They got different coaches out there that's been dealing with a high degree of learning. So that's what I'm saying. Our young guys will look different in systems ran by those men, obviously, right? That's the big problem. Joe Dumars, he knows that. Joe Dumars knows that, fam. He knows that the coaching, and I told y'all that. I was like, if we ain't gonna be doing all this, they lying, talking about we gonna trade Zion, all this, going for Ja Morant. The dude was lying. I told y'all he was lying. I told you, I said this stuff, the man he's not going to be trading all these different players. He traded Jose because he had 1 year left on the contract. He got other people coming back. He got to make time for. So, and Murray and all these expensive players that had no trade value. Jose had trade value. He had trade value. Poole didn't have it. Murray didn't have it. They tried to move these guys. Nobody wants those guys. So you got to play them to move them. That's why I says they got to be a part of the lineup going for the next 25 games. Then you go into the off season and maybe one of them look more attractive, but if you know what that means, that if you can't move them, the enticement usually means you got to put a draft asset with it to move it, like we seen over time when they make bad decisions, bringing in people nobody wants. Remember Dale Demps brought in Omar Asik? When they got him from Chicago, paid him all that money, one of the worst moves that the team ever did was bringing Omer Asik here. You remember that? And remember, we traded first round picks to get that guy and then had to send first round picks to get him out of here. How about Graham? We picked up from Charlotte. Remember we picked up Graham from Charlotte? We had to send picks with him to get him on up out of here. You see? And they did that before. With different players, you can go down a list when you find some of these players and they don't want to do that. They don't want to put draft capital with with players to moving them up out of here. So they got to figure that out once they get the next coach here, they can figure what they can do with some of these guys and how they can fit the youth and the experience together so the team can win. So we'll see how it all works, fam, at the end of the day, man. But I kind of told the family, I told y'all, I said, fam, they're not going to be doing all that. They're not going to be trading all these people for a coach who can't coach. The guy not going to be here. No disrespect to James Borrego, but look all the time Borrego had between when we lost to the Heat prior to the All-Star break. He had nothing but time. They had time to rest. They had time to practice. It's not like you catching him and this stuff. They had time to rest. They had time to practice, resync, refocus, all that stuff he told us prior to the break. And then they come out of the break and get molly-whopped by this team by what, 20-something points? 19, 20 points? Get blown out by the Bucs at home. You ain't have to travel nowhere. You rested and you come out. That's what I'm saying, man. We got a coaching problem here. He can't get nothing out of these players. Not enough out of these players, man. He got to go. His team got to go. And that's what I'm saying. You're not going to be trading nobody for this guy. This guy ain't even be here. I told y'all, this guy is not going to be here at the end of the season. They got to go and find a coach that can coach. Not somebody that can talk about coaching or just coach the offensive side. They need somebody that can speak to both sides and assemble a staff that players will respect. And players respect championships. You got to have a guy that been to the mountaintop. Joe been to the mountaintop twice as a player. He been there as an executive once. He has to get a coach to mirror what he is so that the message resonates from the top of the organization down to the court. The only way you can get at it if you get a respectable coach that been to the mountaintop. That's my perspective. Anyway, with that being said, man, I'm out, man. I'm going to holler at y'all more on the next one. I appreciate y'all. Hit the like button and the share button, man. We'll see you tomorrow. Much love. Peace. Go Pels.
You're listening to the Pelicans Post Game Report on the PRO Media Network for all things Pelicans.
Perfect. Fly Pelican, fly Pelican, fly Pelican. And I tell him that. Fly down, I'm a Pelican forever. Yeah, ain't gon' lie, I feel flyer than I ever been. We stay ballin', this New Orleans, I'm a Pelican. It's going down in the nest, wild, wild west. Come in town and you best, show us some respect. 3-point threat, I better make it rain. If it's up, then don't jump stupid like your ankle sprain. Always said, never hate the player, hate the game. Jumper where the dame late, punch a train. Post game, big Q, talking about business. Bird gang, YouTube, they ain't flocking with us. Lock up the division mission, get into the finals. Finish competition, then it's going win the title. I know this flyer than you can get. Such a threat that the ref just might call a tag. You could double, you could press, but you can't check. Right, left, slide by you like a Eurostep. Fly Pelican, fly Pelican, fly Pelican. And I tell them that birds of a feather flock together. Fly down, I'm a Pelican forever, Pelican forever. And never, and never, and never, and never, and never, and never say birds of a feather flock together. Yeah, fly down, I'm a Pelican forever, Pelican forever.
Hey, New Orleans! Whether you're catching up on Saints news at Jackson Square, checking Pelicans scores in the Garden District, or staying updated on LSU while grabbing coffee in the French Quarter, there's one place that keeps you connected to everything that matters in our city. From Bourbon Street to the Superdome, from Preservation Hall to the Riverfront, New Orleanians are staying in the know with thewhodatdaily.com. Your daily source for Saints, Pelicans, LSU, and all the sports, music, and culture that makes our city special. At work downtown, at a game in the Dome, or just relaxing by the Mississippi, wherever life takes you in the Big Easy, you can stay connected. Because when you're from New Orleans, you don't just live here. You stay in the NO. That's stay in the know. Visit thewhodatdaily.com and never miss what matters most to Who Dat Nation.
Welcome to the Pro Shop, where we create authentic, NOLA-inspired clothing for men, women, and children. From Saints jerseys to Pelicans gear, everything's crafted right here in New Orleans. Whether you're shopping the Pro Shop, the Pel Shop, or the Pro Shop Kids, we've got your whole family covered with genuine merchandise that represents our city's spirit. Check for links in the description section below or in the chat.